there are bad bathroom smells.
Ooh, kids, don't go in there!
And then there are bathroom smells that are clearly something purely evil.
Oh my, what is that? That is otherworldly.
For the very worst bathroom smells, there's only one product that works. New Priest in a Can. Priest in a Can is the odor eliminator for when your bathroom smells like something either died in there or a portal to Sheol opened up. Either way, only a priest will do. And Priest in a Can works because every bottle contains 5% real Jerusalem holy water and has also been blessed right in the factory by an actual bishop. So when your bathroom smells as foul as the outer darkness, get new Priest in a Can.
That's better.
When you can't pray away unholy odors, spray away with Priest in a Can and have a throne fit for a king. Welcome to Mark Mosley's show. I'm Mark Mosley. That, of course, is a commercial. Well, not a real commercial, but a commercial nonetheless. But commercials don't work. That's right. I'm here to announce that commercials don't work. Messaging doesn't work. Propaganda doesn't work. That has been the unspoken narrative that the left has been spinning for the last week or so, although they're not smart enough to realize that that's what they're claiming. You see, before and after the Charlie Kirk assassination, continuing through all the different incidents of violence over the last couple of weeks, and even going back to the firebombing of Tesla dealerships earlier this year, up to and including the shooting at an ABC affiliate building, vandalizing of a Charlie Kirk memorial in Arkansas, the horrible ICE building murders in Dallas. That was just a bizarre story. I mean, the guy wound up killing the very person that he was trying to advocate for. Anyway. But the left's narrative has been, you can't pin any of this on us. So propaganda doesn't work. The definition of propaganda, by the way, pay very close attention to this. Propaganda is communication aimed at shaping opinions, attitudes, or behaviors, often by appealing to emotions, selective information, or persuasive techniques. It isn't always political. It just means persuasive messaging designed to influence. But doesn't work. Saying that ICE are Nazis, that they're fascists, that doesn't affect anyone's opinions or inspire any actions. So if your messaging doesn't work, why do you on the left just keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over again as if you think it's influencing people? Isn't messaging, narrative, propaganda, even advertising in politics, isn't that designed to get people over to your side, to your way of thinking, to support you, to send you money, to vote for you? No. But that's what the left would now have you think. Sure, we can call Trump Hitler all day. We can call ICE fascists on repeat, but we don't bear any responsibility for anyone acting crazy based on the things that we just keep saying. Because we don't think the things we're saying have any impact, any influence, any bearing on anyone's thoughts and opinions. So advertising doesn't work. Political ads don't work. So why are you investing time and energy and money? Why are you going on cable news and repeating your talking points if it doesn't work? Because you're trying to have it both ways. You want to go out there and call ICE fascists. You want to go out there and say they're jackbooted thugs. You want to go out there and say Trump's a fascist, Trump's Hitler, Trump got Jimmy Kimmel pulled off the air. And then you want to turn around and go, But that's not affecting anybody. So then why bother? This is madness. Do you average folks on the left not see how gaga this is? How insane it is? How you are being gaslit by your own side? That's the thing, because we're not buying it. No one on the right is fooled by any of this stuff. Doesn't work on us anymore. I'm just here to tell you, these Alinsky tactics, they don't work. They don't. They're so old and busted that they affect no one. Shaming doesn't work anymore. Labeling doesn't work anymore. Calling us names doesn't work anymore. We've built up an immunity to it because you guys have just been doing it for so many decades. Now, there are young conservatives that might be more affected by it, but an old guy like me, I've been hearing this stuff for decades. Doesn't bother me anymore. You call me any name you want. I don't care. You know, before everybody became such a snowflake, we used to have a saying in the old days, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, of course, nowadays we know words are just deadly. Words are deadly and they must be censored. Many communication scholars describe advertising as a subtype of propaganda, since it uses propaganda-like methods like emotional hooks, simplified messages, and repetition for commercial purposes. No one is buying this. Public opinion is leaning toward the view that harsh rhetoric does contribute to violence. A Reuters Ipsos poll after the Charlie Kirk killing found a majority of Americans say political rhetoric is fueling violence. And that poll helps explain why politicians and media figures are debating whether to hold speech accountable. But they want to have that both ways. Meanwhile, Kimmel's back, which praise God in heaven that Kimmel's back, because you know what that means. Trump is not Hitler, because Hitler wouldn't have let Kimmel come back. The media tried to lay it all at Trump's feet. But he's back. So Trump's not Hitler, is he? Or is he still Hitler? I don't know. You guys got to figure that out, because Hitler wouldn't have let Kimmel come back. Kimmel wouldn't. If it was Hitler, boy, Kimmel wouldn't have been with us anymore. Howard Stern and others had canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions. Well, now, hang on a second. Shouldn't you have already canceled your Disney Plus subscriptions back when Gina Carano's free speech was silenced at the direct behest of Adolf Hitler in the body of Joe Biden? That happened when Biden was president. So that means Joe Biden did it. We're all 99.9999999% sure that it was secretly Joe Biden behind the scenes that made Disney fire her because he was a fascist dictator, right? These are the same folks that have recently claimed that there are limits on the First Amendment, as heard in this handy-dandy compilation. Take a listen.
You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others if you are for providing misinformation out there.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, especially around our democracy.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged, is something that would be a better deterrent.
If people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block. It's really hard to govern today.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
The First Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. There are limits, and that's important. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
When you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. I believe that when it comes to broadcast television like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air, what isn't.
I mean, in your own words, right there, Americans can't just say anything they want. That's Jen Psaki, Tim Walz, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Kamala Harris, a congressman I don't recognize, who cares, and AOC, all saying that, wait a minute, they're all saying that propaganda works in that video and that we have to regulate it and that silencing speech we think is dangerous, wrong, hateful, or inspires violence is what we have to do. I'm confused. Does propaganda work or doesn't it? Let me just take a deep breath here. You got to calm down, Mark. You're getting too crazy. I know, Kronk. Yeah, you just got to chill out a little bit. You're way over the top. I don't know if you've just accidentally listened to this show for the very first time, you may not get just how much sarcasm is dripping out of the speaker on the device that you're listening to this on. But there's a lot of sarcasm here. Meanwhile, back in California, our governor wants to do just that. A controversial bill awaiting California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom's signature may have actually happened by the time you hear this podcast, is going to slap steep new penalties on social media platforms that fail to censor content deemed in violation of the state's civil rights laws. Yep. SB771, which passed both chambers of the state legislature and was sent to Newsom's desk, imposes fines of up to $1 million. $1 million. On social media platforms that fail to remove content that violates the state's civil rights laws. Critics warn the measure will lead to sweeping censorship of lawful speech. Duh. Lawmakers defended SB 771 by citing rising incidents of hate-motivated harm, including hate crimes involving anti-immigrant slurs. Yeah, that's not the only hate crimes that are going around, in case you guys hadn't noticed. The bill's text also references data from the Human Rights Campaign and the Center for Countering Digital Hate, showing a 400% rise in anti-LGBTQ plus disinformation and harmful rhetoric on major social media platforms. Well, it doesn't help when LGBTQ plus members are going around killing people. That can't be good. Remember, we had that clip from that one trans woman last week. Gigi, I think her name was. Yes, I'm using her proper pronouns. I'm trying to be respectful and use her preferred pronouns. Gigi said, be careful because on the heels of this Charlie Kirk assassination, the trans community can expect some blowback. You know, this reminds me of something that I remember from the 1970s, probably 79. I was just starting out in radio, and I had a coworker that was gay, and I think he was probably the first guy I knew that I was sure was gay. We never had a specific conversation about, hey, are you gay? But I could tell he was gay. Well, one day he comes to me and he says, hey, I have this petition. I'd like for you to sign it. And I said, well, what's it for? And he goes, well, this was so shocking. It's shocking today, but it was. Imagine how in 1970s terms, how shocking this was. He said, someone has made a gay porno, that in this porno, Jesus is gay and the disciples are all gay. And I was floored. And he said, I'm trying to pass this petition around. We don't want this to be released. And in my brain, I'm going, but you're gay. And then it hit me and I said, oh, he's terrified that if this film comes out, that it will be trouble for gay men. Because imagine how many people the existence of that movie being distributed, how many people that would enrage, and how the blowback, what kind of repercussions would there be for gay men? And of course I signed it because I didn't want something like that out there, but I understood that was his motivation. And that should be the motivation of the trans community now that this Charlie Kirk thing has happened on the heels of the shooting in Minnesota, on the heels of, a lot of other incidents involving violence coming from trans people. Trans people should be worried about blowback. Anyway, getting back to this bill that Gavin Newsom is probably going to sign, Shoshana Weinstein, the director of digital media at the R Street Institute, told the Daily Caller News Foundation, if people think platforms remove their content too much now, they should expect to see the pattern significantly intensify with this law. Rather than risk liability for showing users content, one could argue, even if it doesn't actually violate a law, platforms will over-moderate and remove posts in order to stay out of court. Under this proposed law, platforms with $100 million or more in annual revenue could face $1 million in fines if they intentionally, knowingly, or willingly or willfully relay content that violates state law through their algorithms. This is insane. But here we go. Here's the guy that runs around saying, Trump, I'm pretty sure that Gavin Newsom said something to the effect of Jimmy Kimmel's censorship was Trump's fault. And yet this bill sits on his desk. Hang on, let's just find it. Stand by. Please stand by. One moment, please. Here it is. On Gavin Newsom's official X account, quote, buying and controlling media platforms, firing commentators, canceling shows. These aren't coincidences. It's coordinated and it's dangerous. The GOP does not believe in free speech. They're censoring you in real time. All while this bill is sitting on his desk, ready to be signed. This is like straight out of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Remember when Sauron is just gaslighting Celebrimbor, manipulating him into creating rings and then blaming him for the consequences of creating the rings. It's this. I have no words for Gavin Newsom. You're Sauron. That's the level of gaslighting and evil that we're dealing with here. For him to say these things that he said about Kimmel's firing while this censorship bill, this awful censorship bill, is sitting on your desk ready for you to sign. But Trump is still Hitler, even though he let Jimmy Kimmel live and let Jimmy Kimmel live. See what I did there? Because here's what Hitler did to his political enemies. He had them put down. They weren't canceled. They were done away with. And Hitler, unlike Trump, had total control of the German media complex. Stalin would not have let Disney put Kimmel back on the air. Stalin would not only have ended Kimmel, but the executives at Disney for good measure. Just take them out back there. Yeah, just take them out back behind the building. We got a nice concrete wall back there. But Kimmel's back on the air. He's back on the air. And Sinclair and Nexstar are going to drop their protests. So now he will be back on the air very soon in those markets that they own the ABC stations, D.C., Nashville, New Orleans, St. Louis, Seattle, a total of close to 100 markets. So there you go. Jimmy Kimmel's back. And now I think it's only right that some other people get their jobs back.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Barr.
And I'm Gina Carano, here with a message for Disney ABC.
We're ready to go back to work. That's right, now that Disney's decided that whatever Jimmy Kimmel said, true or untrue, horrible, hateful, whatever, it's all good.
So we'd also like our jobs back too, thanks.
After all, if Kimmel can say terrible things that are even untrue and get away with it, was what we said really so much worse?
Well, what you said was pretty bad, but what did I do? I just refused to post my pronouns.
Ah, you're a lightweight. So we can't wait to go back on Roseanne and The Mandalorian. Of course, ABC will have to figure out how to bring my character back from the dead, but just do the old bit where you pretend it was all a dream.
So, ABC Disney, call us. You have our numbers. Now that you can say anything you want, nothing is off limits, we're ready to be uncanceled and go back to work.
As long as I don't have to work with any or
Ooh, and you were so close.
Sorry, it's the Ambien.
It's Mark Mosley Show.
We're back. It's Mark Mosley Show. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Mark Mosley. You can argue with me on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, a little bit. And we're also on YouTube. We have every episode of our show on YouTube. And my understanding is that YouTube is actually the biggest platform for podcasting. So enjoy the show on YouTube. We also have our shorts. We're adding more shorts every day. Clips from this show to our YouTube account. So go check it out. In other fascist censorship news, this just in, Alphabet Inc. announced earlier this week that YouTube will reinstate channels that were banned under a now defunct COVID-19 and 2020 election policies, following admissions of unacceptable pressure from the Hitler administration. Hitler, and by Hitler I mean Joe Biden, who was just censoring his enemies. Yep. They were moderating even nonviolent content. The decision, detailed in a letter to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, includes reforms such as eliminating third-party fact-checkers and adding community notes to prioritize public debate. This, of course, stems from ongoing congressional investigations into federal coordination with tech companies on content suppression, which, by the way, the media told you wasn't happening, but propaganda doesn't work. You know what? Maybe Trump could just force Alphabet to deplatform the Kimmel Show's YouTube account. Surely no one on the left will object to that. You didn't have a problem with it before. Why would you start now? Here's one more way that Trump is not Hitler. Autism. Trump's working on this autism issue. Of course, you know, Hitler, we know what Hitler did with all the special needs kids. But here's Trump doing the opposite, caring for the special needs kids. Harry Sisson, the kid with the world's most punchable face. I hope whatever you guys at the DNC are paying him, it's not more than $20 a week or whatever he might otherwise make on his paper route to come up with this kind of drivel. Harry Sisson says you should not take medical advice from the guy who eats McDonald's once a day and the dude with a brain worm. Listen to actual doctors and scientists. Yeah, like as if Trump and RFK Jr. are just sitting in a room by themselves going, well, we know better than any actual doctors and scientists that are on the government payroll, that are in these bureaucracies. I mean, it's an absurd take. And then there's Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett said on her X account, "Let me go ahead and send my thoughts and prayers to all that plan to take their medical advice from someone who I am old enough to remember also told people to inject themselves with bleach. Why is ignorance being elevated while intelligence is being denigrated?" Oh, she's so smart, Jasmine. Why is ignorance being elevated while intelligence is being denigrated? Trump never said to inject yourself with bleach. The irony of you, Jasmine Crockett, claiming that he did while claiming the intellectual high ground is, of course, lost on you. Snopes said Trump didn't tell people to inject bleach for COVID-19. But hold on a second. Hold the phone now. Elizabeth Warren said the very same thing on her X account. It's almost like there's a whole room full of idiots banging out idiot tweets for their fellow idiots to post on X. Fake American Indian Liz Warren writes, "Let's be clear. No one should be taking medical advice from the man who told Americans to inject bleach. To moms worried about the Tylenol they took while pregnant, you deserve better than being RFK Jr.'s scapegoat." Heavy sigh. Again, according to Snopes, during an April 2020 media briefing, Trump did ask members of the government's coronavirus task force to look into whether disinfectants could be injected inside people to treat COVID-19. But when a reporter asked a follow-up question whether cleaning products like bleach or isopropyl alcohol would be injected into a person, Trump said those products would be used for sterilizing an area, not for injections. Here's Trump's exact quote. And I won't be doing it as Trump. And you'll see why in just a second, because I have something better. Here's the quote from Trump. "And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets in the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that so that you're going to have to use medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting to me." No mention of the word bleach. And Trump specifically didn't say to shoot up Clorox. Trump did not say, "I urge people, all Americans, to go out, get some Clorox, get the scented kind so that your body smells like lavender from the inside out. We love lavender. Melania sprays it on her pillow at night. So beautiful. Get some Clorox, or if you have some lying around, just use some Mrs. Clairol or some L'Oreal. Those bleaches will work too. And then what you're going to need to do, you're going to need to go to a medical supply store in your area, and you can Google it and see if they will sell you some syringes with needles. Now, here's where it gets tricky, because you can't just jab the needle full of Clorox anywhere. It's got to go into a vein. Otherwise, it won't travel through the body. It'll just sit there, and you'll have a bleach bubble on your arm. You don't want that. No, you've got to make sure to get that needle into a vein. So go watch some TikTok videos on how to find a vein and get that needle right in there and squirt that bleach right into your bloodstream. And believe me when I tell you, it's going to knock that COVID out very quickly. Very quickly. That's not what Trump said. That's what it would have sounded like if Trump had said it. But he didn't say anything like that. And so then the videos start popping up all week of pregnant liberal women popping Tylenol just to own Trump. Because orange man bad, so whatever Trump says, do the opposite. Trump and RFK Jr. should, just to mess with the nut jobs, they should come out and say something like, "We want to let all Americans know we are advising you, please do not set yourselves on fire." Tell them, RFK Jr.
"Please do not set yourself on fire. It's very dangerous.
And you could wind up with a boo-boo. Isn't that right, RFK? A tremendous boo-boo. Oh, and Elon is here. Musk, what do you want to say?
Please don't set yourself on fire, and don't set your Tesla on fire either."
Back to California scheming. On top of his censorship efforts, Governor Gavin Newsom signed new laws restricting ICE agents. SB 627 bans agents from wearing masks. SB 805 requires them to identify themselves. SB 81 and SB 98 restrict ICE from schools and hospitals. Well, federal officials say the laws are unenforceable under the Supremacy Clause. ICE vows business as usual. So nice try. I mean, we could compromise. Gavin, just go ahead and sign a law that says doxing an ICE agent is punishable by 5 years in prison, 15 if the agent suffers physical attack from doxing, and then we'll be all good. Because their whole thing is they don't want ICE agents wearing masks. And they're trying to play these silly, silly games about how, well, we need to know who these people are. And no one's going to dox them. No one's going to dox them because, remember, from top of the show, when we said propaganda doesn't work and calling ICE agents evil, that's not going to cause anybody to dox them. So please, just go ahead and show your faces. It's all good. No one's going to try to hurt you or your families. You're crazy to think that. Pfft, get out of here. Alternately, ICE agents could just keep wearing masks and claim they're protecting themselves from the latest coronavirus. Meanwhile, on September 26th, there was a big protest at an ICE office in Broadview, Illinois, near Chicago. Protesters gathered in large numbers and clashed with federal agents. Guess what all the protesters wore? Yep. To hide their identities. And did you see the media this week trying to pretend like they don't know who Antifa is? What is this Antifa you guys keep talking about? What? Antifa? What is that? There's no Antifa organization. Why, you can't name one member of Antifa. That was fun because a particular congressperson said, name me one member of Antifa. And people just posted their memes of like dozens of mugshots of Antifa. Meanwhile, the Broadview, Illinois mayor says ICE is, quote, making war on my community after the latest protest at this immigration facility. Just keep doubling down. You don't have the polls on your side. This is a 90-10 issue. Don't be shocked, Democrats, when you get shellacked next year in the midterms. Listen to this mayor. The relentless deployment. No, you know what? The relentless deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets in the vicinity of the United States Immigrations and Custom Enforcement Processing Center in the village of Broadview is endangering nearby village residents and harming Broadview police officers, firefighters, and American citizens exercising their First Amendment rights. That's probably what he sounds like in real life. And listen to how the Chicago Sun-Times reports what happened. Friday morning, the crowd had grown to about 100 people who were peacefully protesting. But ICE officers started firing chemical irritants around 8 a.m. when some of the demonstrators started yelling at passing vehicles on the other side of a fence that ICE erected in the roadway this week. Non-lethal ammunition and tear gas followed. Meanwhile, no, that's not how it went down. And viral videos that hit social media showed exactly what happened. Protesters surrounding the ICE vehicles, pounding on them, trying to block them from leaving, doing the whole we're going to block the road thing, we're going to stand in front of the car thing. Imagine what it's like to be in a non-bulletproof vehicle surrounded by dozens and dozens of people, not knowing if any one of them or more than one of them has a gun. Yeah, this has to stop, all right. This has to stop. And one more little tidbit of RFK news. The McDonald's Green Initiative was announced this past week. They've announced a $200 million investment over 7 years to expand regenerative ranching across 4 million acres in 38 states. Grants will help ranchers adopt practices like rotational grazing. It's all part of Trump's Make America Healthy Again agenda, championed by RFK Jr. It aims to cut fertilizer use, improve soil health, and sequester carbon. Supporters hail it as corporate responsibility. Skeptics call it greenwashing. I never heard that one before. I had to go look it up. Greenwashing is when a company, organization, or even a government misleads people into thinking its products, policies, or practices are more environmentally friendly than they actually are. It's basically a marketing or PR strategy that exaggerates or fakes sustainability efforts to attract eco-conscious consumers or investors without making real, meaningful changes. But how can anybody know that? I mean, this is just what folks on the left are going to assume. But good for McDonald's. You know what? Even if it was greenwashing, at least it's a move in the right direction. But we'll just move the goalposts. No, not good enough. No, it's never enough. That's the thing about a lot of leftist agendas. It's never enough. It's never enough. You have to keep going, keep going, keep going. It's what I always say about climate change. How much do we have to do? Half of us are driving electric cars. We got solar panels on the roof of every building. We're using the curly light bulbs. Companies are making all kinds of changes, but it's never enough. It's never enough. We need more. They won't be happy, some of them, until we're back to living in caves. I mean, this is good for McDonald's. I'm not going to eat their food 3 meals a day, but come on, this is something, right? It's like saying, because people do die at the hospital, you shouldn't go there when you're sick. Or that warning labels on cigarettes isn't good enough. No, when you open the pack of Marlboros, a fist should pop out and punch you. When we come back, some Babylon Bee news related to Charlie Kirk. Stick around.
It's Mark Mosley Show. Follow Mark on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Mark Mosley. And subscribe for new episodes weekly on your favorite podcast platform.
Thank you so much for the handful of you who listen to this podcast every week. I'd love to get from the handful of you to more handfuls. So please share this podcast with a friend, someone that you think might like it. And especially if they're a Babylon Bee fan, because I like to think that this podcast is in the spirit of the Babylon Bee. So I want to take this moment to share some stuff that I thought was really great from the Bee this past week, because Charlie Kirk continues to be the most shared person on social media. My wife has just shown me so many videos. She's like, "Oh, have you seen this one? Oh, you got to see this one." She's always sharing these Charlie Kirk videos with me all the time, and I love it. And it warms my heart, because it's opening the eyes of literally millions of people. So keep sharing those videos, everybody, because we're making tons of converts, both to Christianity and to Christian principles as applied to governance in this country, aka conservatism. So thank you. Here's some stuff from the Babylon Bee. Headline: Satan says, quote, "I've made a huge mistake."
I've made a huge mistake.
Surveying the hundreds of thousands gathered for Charlie Kirk's memorial service, along with the millions watching across the globe, a despondent Satan declared that he had made a huge mistake. "Well, this isn't going like I planned at all," sighed Satan, as churches once again were filled to overflowing around the nation. "Listen to all that worship. How are even more people praising God in the face of death? I've really screwed the pooch this time." At publishing time, and enraged, Satan had learned that thousands more souls had slipped out of his grasp. Amen. Meanwhile, the Bee also had this awesome story about the Kirk Memorial. Nazi rally inspires millions to forgive and love their enemies. Glendale, Arizona. Revival seems poised to sweep across the globe as an enormous Nazi rally held at State Farm Stadium reportedly inspired millions of people throughout the world to forgive and love their enemies. The worldwide stirring of forgiveness resulted from the unprecedented Nazi gathering as hundreds of thousands of bigoted fascist attendees met to use their evil hatred to spread a message of love and salvation from sin. This horrifying event is flooding the world with love, said one stunned journalist who was present at the rally. In an unexpected consequence, these hundreds of thousands of Nazis have shown mankind how to turn away from hate and choose to offer forgiveness to their enemies. The danger here cannot be overstated. Video clips of the rally filled with Christian worship music, quotes from the Bible, and urgent pleas for people to repent of their sins and turn to Jesus Christ for salvation and peace quickly went viral on social media, with accompanying content warnings to notify users of the graphic words and images. Everyone should be aware that these Nazis are, by their own admission, out to conquer the world, said one outraged social media user. They keep talking about their leader who supposedly died and came back to life and is now apparently saving people from their sins and giving them the ability to love and forgive their enemies. Terrible, horrifying stuff. At publishing time, concerned Democrats were asking television networks and social media platforms to remove all videos from the event to prevent further Nazi radicalization. And one more, so much good stuff from the Bee this week. You would think they were paying me to read these. If only that were true. If only that were true. And maybe it will be someday. One more story from the Bee. Awkward moment as Trump and Elon caught on kiss cam. President Trump and Tesla CEO Elon Musk shared an awkward moment Sunday during the memorial for Charlie Kirk when they were both caught on a kiss cam. Witnesses could see Elon Musk awkwardly get Trump's attention, point at the Jumbotron, and turn to him with a shrug as if saying, "I guess we have no choice." Sources say Trump then shifted awkwardly in his seat, as if waiting for the moment to pass, but Musk was ready to go for it. "I've never been on a Jumbotron before. Don't let me down," he allegedly said. "Come here, big guy. The people need this." "I don't know if we should," said Trump. "Too gay. I'm a fan of women, Elon. Totally not gay at all. I only kiss women. And maybe my grandson. Besides, the people won't go for it. We're here for Charlie." Critics condemned the kiss cam at the memorial service as highly inappropriate. No one knows who authorized it or ran the cameras. "It must have been Providence," said J.D. Vance, who denies he orchestrated the whole thing. "I'm happy to report it broke the ice a little bit, and these two are talking again." At publishing time, Trump and Musk had officially worked out their differences. However, a spokesman for both parties would neither confirm nor deny that they had kissed. And Elon, on the 26th, had a wonderful post on X poking fun at the infamous James Comey tweet, where he says this, the one about the interesting shell formation that he found on the beach that said 8647. Well, Elon posted a dig at James Comey's 8647 tweet. It's an AI picture of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump supposedly found a shell arrangement on the beach that says FAFO and says, "We are so back." So I guess that the relationship between Trump and Musk is on the mend. Are they besties again? Ooh, it's so exciting. Are they? Let's listen in as they text back and forth like a couple of teenage girl BFFs. "OMG, Elon, where are you, heart emoji?"
LOL, chill. I'm literally in math class right now. Crying laughing face.
"Sparkle pink heart, ew, math,
Rolling eyes emoji. I'm so much better at business anyway. Like everyone says it, the best ever, actually. Sparkle emoji.
You always say that. Eyes looking to the side, smug emoji. But for real though, I just doodled a rocket on my notebook and the teacher thought it was inappropriate. Like, what even? Rocket emoji.
Iconic rocket emoji. You're literally a genius. If I was teacher, I'd give you an A+++++++++++.
LOL, stop, you're making me blush. Serious emoji. Maybe I'll give you a free Tesla.
Let's get milkshakes after school, okay? Chocolate for me. It's the best milkshake. Everyone knows it. No one has better milkshakes than me. Milkshake emoji.
OMG, yes. And I'll tell you my new secret plan for, like, going to Mars. Alien emoji.
Sparkle heart emoji. You're so extra. Crying laughing face, but I love it. Besties forever. Sparkle emoji.
Forever besties. Pinky swear. Fingers crossed. Pink sparkle emoji. TTYL.
It's Mark Mosley Show.
We're back on Mark Mosley Show in this final segment. We've got our doofus of the week, but first it's time for the good news. We love the good news on this show. And some of you know what I mean when I say the good news. That would be the gospel. And we love good news too, because most of the news out there is bad. So when I hear a story like this one, I want to bring it to you. This is a good news story that also is about the good news. This is a 92-year-old grandmother named Pauline Jacoby who, when confronted with a robber, took the opportunity to, in her own sweet grandmotherly way, witness the good news to him.
Jacoby had just finished putting away her groceries inside her car at a nearby Walmart. Only seconds after Jacoby got into her car, a man jumped in the passenger side. The man told Jacoby he had a gun and that he would shoot her if she didn't give him money.
I said, no, I'm not going to give him my money.
Jacoby told him no 3 times. Then she started to talk to him.
You know, as quick as you kill me, I'll go to heaven and you go to hell.
She told him to ask God for forgiveness.
I said, Jesus is in this car, and he goes with me everywhere I go. And he just started looked around, and the tears began coming in his eyes.
Jacoby ministered the man for 10 minutes inside her car.
And he says, I think I'll go home and pray tonight. I said, you don't have to wait tonight. I said, you can just pray anytime you want to.
As tears were rolling down the man's face, Jacoby voluntarily gave him all the money she had, $10.
And when I told him I was going to give him the money, I said, don't you spend it on whiskey either.
The man thanked her for the money and then
reached over and kissed me on the cheek.
and walked away.
He walked away.
Don't you just love that? Now, I don't know. That one's probably been making the rounds for a while now, so maybe you'd already heard that one. But it was the first time I'd seen it. I saw it on Instagram. Well, listen, thanks for listening to Mark Mosley Show. We'll wrap the show up as we always do every week with our doofus of the week. And this week, it's a double dose of doofus. What would be the plural of doofus? I believe it's doofi. Would that be right? Anyway, today a double dose of doofus. First up, a 27-year-old Milwaukee area man stole a large bag of jewelry from a garage sale. Cops say the man picked up the bag of jewelry, ran to his car, and took off. Now, somebody on the scene had the wherewithal to jot down his license plate number, and they called the cops. This was a bystander, by the way, not the homeowners, not the folks that were running the garage sale, but this person took it on themselves to say, I'm going to call the police. The man led cops on a chase when they spotted his car. They finally got him pulled over and arrested him. They fined him $300 for trying to elude capture, but they couldn't charge him with being a jewel thief. As it turned out, the big sack of jewelry was just kids' costume jewelry valued at a total of 50 cents. Doofus number 2. Cops say somebody in the Tampa, Florida area stole a package left on a doorstep of somebody's house. The porch pirate, of course, had no idea what was inside, but that's what porch pirates do. They just grab it, run, and you find out later on. Well, when this person got it back home, they found inside a big Ziploc baggie containing a fine white powder. Ooh. No, nothing illegal. Not drugs. The homeowner later told cops that the stolen package contained the ashes of a cremated relative. Oh, no. Lord help us. Lord help us. Right now, someone is smoking Aunt Bethany. Thanks for listening to Mark Mosley Show. Don't forget to follow me on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. You can also hear this show on Apple Podcast, on iHeart, on Spotify. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, hit the bell, whatever the podcast platform tells you to do to help us grow this show and move it along. And until next time, may God bless you with health, joy, and wisdom.